That's amazing.
Green power.
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 All right. This is our time.
Yes.
And we could not sit on our hands and allow this to get past us. We have one of the greatest organizers in the history of mankind in the White House. We organize against itself. But it's important to understand that we have to learn to stand together. We have to stop talking about who we can't work with, who we don't like. I don't like you because you're too tall. I don't like you because you're too short. I don't like you because you're too fat. I don't like you because you're too skinny. I don't like you because you got on green shoes. We always find a reason not to like one another. It's always something. And then we're playing into the enemy hand. This is how the enemy defeats us. You see, we have to learn to say no more. We're going to work together. I don't care what you do. It's not about you. It's about the issues. See, it's bigger than you. If it's just you, they could send you to prison. And everything will stop. It's got to be about the issues. I know everybody want to be in control. Everybody want to be brilliant. I'm smarter than you. I'm wiser than you. I got more money than you. It's always something to divide us up. We are going to have to learn to stand together. We are going to have to stop talking about who we're not going to work with. This is green time. This is green power time. We need to show people who we are. We need to walk hand in hand, lock arms, show people where we're going and what we can do. See, that's one of the reasons why I was sent to prison. Because I believe in working with everybody. I don't care about nobody don't like me. I care less about that. What that mean? You don't like me. We got something bigger than liking each other. You see, one of the things that happened while I was in, on my wife's birthday, April 24th, I was taking her out to dinner. And before I can get to my destination, I was receiving calls that the SWAT team was at my house. They had surrounded my house. Now, who would believe that a county like Barron County, who always talking about they need more money, will put enough money together and send a SWAT team to your house?
I can believe it.
Yeah, they sent the SWAT team for Reverend Pinkney. Who would believe it? On my wife's birthday. But the good news was I went home. That was the good news. They sent them and they locked down the whole street. Nobody could go in their house and nobody could come out because they wanted Reverend Pinkney. We got to stop this man. This man is doing something that's too incredible. He's uniting the people. He's bringing people together who've never been together. And they don't like that. They don't like people coming together. That's why they usually plant people in different organizations to separate you. You see, and they got all the financing to do it. And they will do it. But anyhow, due to time, I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Because we got a timekeeper. And he's watching. Anyhow, I turned myself in the very next day. And when I turned myself in, the first thing the judge said, he called me everything but Reverend Pinkney. He called me all kind of names for about 25 minutes. That was his time. He said I was the worst person in the whole wide world. He said I was the worst, that you committed the worst crime, yet there was no evidence to prove anything he's saying, but he's saying that Reverend Pinkney committed the worst crime in the history of mankind. He's the worst person, he's committed the worst crime, he's all this, you know, and it was his time. Because he was sitting behind that desk, and on the bench, he had that authority. And he gave it to me. He gave it to me. Matter of fact, I was wondering who they was talking about. I couldn't figure out who they was talking about. I know it wasn't me. I thought maybe they're going to bring a body out the back and say I had killed somebody. I don't know. But anyhow, on October 27th, we went to trial. The prosecutor got up and said, we don't have any evidence that can convict Reverend Pinkney. But, if you find him guilty, it will stand. And the judge echoed the same thing. He said, whatever decision you make is final. It's final. Whatever decision. If you want to send him to prison, it's final. We don't care what you say or what you do as long as you send him to prison. As long as you find him guilty, I'll send him to prison. That's what the judge was saying. So, unfortunate for me, they found me guilty. November 3rd. December 15th, they sentenced me to 30 months in prison. 30 months in prison. They shot me all the way up to Marquette. And they wasn't through with me, though. They placed me in a control area that was molded. And the mold was eating me up from the inside out. I had lost over 30 pounds. And I was weak, and I couldn't function. But I said one thing, I'm not going to die in prison. You'll never ship my body home from prison. I can tell you that right now. And I started working out and started doing things. Started eating the right food, because you couldn't eat their food. Their food was filled with worms and magnets and riding to the core. They had everything they was doing that. The food was horrible. But they had another plan. After they realized they couldn't kill me on that issue, they came up with another idea that they're going to say that I made a three-way call. Normally, if you make a three-way call, you get 15 days without the telephone. They gave me 180. They gave me 180 days without the phone. My wife, I couldn't contact my wife. I couldn't contact nobody. And they had me blocked in. I had a hearing, and they found me not guilty of making a three-way call. But they still gave me 180 days without the telephone. So that's how they operate. But they wasn't through yet. They wasn't through. They decided that I had a visitor come in. And when I had the visitor to come in, he was taking notes. When he got ready to leave, they wanted his notes. But before they got his notes, they had me put in shackles. They had me shackled up and taken to the hole. Because their intention was to get me. They didn't care how they do it, whether it was factual, actual, or whatever it might be, they care less. They wanted Reverend Pinkney. And found out, they put me in the hole. I was in the hole about 4 days. And when they gave me the charge, they charged me with smuggling. Because they couldn't spell smuggling. They said Reverend Pinkney was smuggling inside the jail. I don't know how to smuggle. They said, well, you was smuggling, and then they realized smuggling, that's no charge. I mean, but they wanted to charge me, but they see it would have been smuggling, but they couldn't spell smuggling. See, sometimes you have to understand this. But anyhow, they had me in the hole. They came out and picketed the prison. First time in history, people from northern Michigan, David Soul, all of them came out and picketed. And David Soul from Detroit. You know, he was there. Remember, he was the one who came in and they wanted to take his notes. And he was right there, Johnny, on the spot. But they let me out 4 days later. And they told me one thing, which is very, very, very important. They said that if they would have found me guilty, I wouldn't be here talking to you. Well, I probably would since it was over time. But you wouldn't have an opportunity to be here because they'll lock you up in a level 5. No visits, no nothing. That's how they operate. That was their goal. But they was up against me. I don't hold them up. I do the things that need to be done. They called in the hearing officer, and the hearing officer said, When I got to him, they called me all over the compound. We want Pinkney, 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 Pinkney. That's all you hear all over the compound. Pinkney, Pinkney, the judge want to see you. I said, there was no judge want to see me. And so I didn't go. Next thing I know, I saw 6 correctional officers coming up and telling me that the judge want to see me. I said, don't no judge want to see me. He said, yes, he do. So they took me over there to see the judge. Actually, he's a hearing officer. He's just like that big title. Anyway, I goes over to see him, and the first thing I tell him, you got to dismiss this charge of smuggling. He said, smuggling? And then I said, smuggling. Smuggling? And I said, they charged me with smuggling. And he said, sure is smuggling. You were smuggling in a visiting room? I said, smuggling? And when I kept saying smuggling, he kept saying smuggling. And then finally he said, he dropped a bomb on me. He said, I don't care nothing about evidence. I don't care nothing about whether it was smuggling or smuggling. He said, I don't care. He said, I rule on how I feel. And then he told me this. He said, I only rule the way I feel. And I said, you look like you feel pretty good today. And he said, sure do. Matter of fact, I do feel good. He said, well, I'll let you know at 4:30. 4:30 came around and he said, not guilty. Oh, it shook up the whole prison. All the guards and everybody, they were angry, mad. One of the guys came and he tried to bump my arm. They would have charged me with assault if he would have touched me. Or I would have touched him. It don't make no difference whether, if he said I bumped him, I bumped him. Just like I was smuggling and all this other stuff. So they was angry, they was mad at me, and the whole compound was happy. We just doing things. But due to time, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you this quick story. Because I know me and time, I can get past my 25 minutes. And I don't want to do that, Here's what's happened. 2008, I wrote an article in the People Tribune newspaper, the paper that I was walking around with. I wrote an article. It simply said that if you do not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God and do all the things that is right, all these things will come upon you. And the judge said that was a threat on his life. He said that Reverend Pinkney had threatened my life, my wife's life, my children's life, and my children's children's life. He thought that Pinkney knew more than what he did, and for him to only think on that level, he must have said Pinkney must know something. You see, so he charged me with threatening a judge, and they found me guilty. I brought in Kellerman from Detroit to analyze what the guy was talking about, to break down the Bible for him, because I know they didn't know. They didn't have a clue what's in the Bible. Because if they did, they wouldn't be acting the way they are. So they sent me to prison, and they sent me up to Ojibwe, which is even farther, it's closer to Wisconsin. But before I could get there was a group of Muslim brothers who was there. And they was there when I was getting off the bus. The first thing they asked me, Reverend Pinkney, we are so glad that you're here. I said, that don't sound good. How could you be glad somebody is in prison? And he said, well, we need your help. We need you to help us resolve this issue that we have with Michigan Department of Corrections. The issue was that not only was the food, but the conditions. And they needed to do something, but they didn't have the courage to do it. They didn't know how to do it. So the first thing I did, I said, well, let's bring the people together, and then let's do something. In the prison system, we always find people there also, just like every place else, who don't like each other. That's why there are fights inside. And the Michigan Department of Corrections, what they do, they instigate a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They'll slip a note under somebody's door and say so-and-so said this or so-and-so said that, and it'll cause a big friction inside the prison system. So the Muslim Brothers was the biggest organization in the prison system. There was over 500 strong. Bad boys. You don't mess with the Muslim Brothers. That's one thing you don't do. So this big guy, about 6'5", 6'6", comes up to me and asks me, now I stand a nick over 5'7", and he asked me to help him. I'm really confused. I don't know what I can do to help this big guy. Actually, I really need his protection, but he wanted me to protect him and help him. So I told him that what I'm going to do is that let me think, how are we going to deal with this? Because we know it's an issue. So I went into the unit, and when I came back out, I said, well, what we're going to do, we're going to attack the food system, because they're vulnerable. And we're going to deal with the buck-naked fish. Now, the buck-naked fish is the nastiest, smelliest, stinkiest fish that you can ever have or even cook. They only cook 100 pieces of the buck-naked fish. 100 for 1,400 people. Because nobody usually eats it. You always going to have some people who will eat the buck-naked fish. You always, whatever it is, you're going to always find somebody who will eat this stuff. And, I don't know whether all 100 be eaten, but they only cook 100 pieces. So I told the Muslim brother that we're going to deal with the buck-naked fish. I said, get your boys together. And we're going to do something constructive around here. We're going to stop all this talking. A lot of times people, all they do is talk. They want to talk about this. They want to talk about that. No action.
That's right.
No action. Nobody want to get out here and do what they supposed to do. It's fighting time. It's fighting time. I don't care whether you're in prison or out of prison. It's fighting time. So now what I have to do, I got to go talk to this Aryan Nation guy. Now the Aryan Nation guy, in 12 years since he's been in prison, he never spoke to a black person. Never have a black bunkie. Never ever. He don't speak to black people. He'll tell you in a minute, I don't speak to black people. Well, here's what I said. Take me to him. And the guy told me, well, I'll show you where he at. He said, you can go talk to him, but I'll show you where he at. So it took us maybe an hour to locate the young man. And I walked up to him and told him, I said, we got a problem. And he said, I don't talk to black people. The first thing came out of his mouth. I said, well, you don't have to like me. That's not important. Well, we got an issue that we got to deal with. I don't talk to black people. Over and over again, I don't talk to black people. Period. I said, okay, but he didn't realize he was talking to me. Because we was going back and forth, and I'm telling him, you don't have to like me. He's telling me, you don't have to, I don't talk to black people. So we're holding a conversation whether he know it or not. And this went on maybe 30, 40 minutes just back and forth, And he didn't realize that he was actually holding a conversation with me. And I'm standing there, he's a big guy too. All the leaders inside the prison system are big people. Usually the biggest ones there are mostly the leaders. He was probably 6'4", 6'4 and a half. He was a muscle, because everybody lift weights inside the prison system. That's what they do. So the white guy kept saying, I don't talk to black people. He said it over and over again, and I kept saying the same thing. You don't have to like me. We don't have to like each other. Why are we? I said, see, here's what we do. We come to a different meeting, then we leave the meeting talking about who we don't like. That's the Greens too. Y'all part of that too. Y'all walk around talking about who you don't like, who I can't work with. I can't do this. I can't do that with this person. You always don't want to do something. We have to learn to stand together fight together and deal with this monster that we're in right now. This is a monster. And stop talking about who you can't work with. I can't work with this person because they're white. I can't work with that person because he's black. I can't work with him because he's brown. I can't work with him because he's yellow. I can't work with him because he's red. We always find a reason not to work with somebody.
All right.
I can't work with you because you polka dot. We always got a reason. We got to stop that. If we're going to win, we got a fight on our hands. And we better get out there and fight. And stop talking so much. Stop all this talking and stop fighting.
All right.
That's right.
Anyhow, the white guy, the Aryan Nation brother, he's still talking about he don't talk to black people. So all of a sudden, out of the sky blue, he tells me, let's walk. Now, inside the prison system, they have a thing that you walk, you walk in circles. Most time when you see people walking in circles, you say they're crazy or something wrong with them. But that's what they do inside the prison system. They eat up time. So me and this Aryan Nation guy is walking around in circles. And he's still talking. He's still saying the same thing. He's still telling me why he don't want to work with black people. He ain't gonna talk to black people. He's telling me all this, and I keep saying, That's all I say. And he still talking. He didn't even realize that there was a great conversation going on. This conversation was so good because everybody on the compound that was inside, I'm talking 1,400 people, came outside so they can watch me and him talk. They actually came out to watch. And them got all these people in the prison system go around talking about who they didn't like. They always find people they don't like. So this Aryan Nation brother told me we had been walking maybe 2 hours. I was a little tired too, I'm gonna be honest with you. And but I was on a mission. Nothing supersedes the mission.
Yeah.
Nothing supersedes the mission. I don't care what you say and what you do. Nothing supersedes the mission. The mission is what we have to complete. We are too incomplete right now. We're so worried about who we're going to work with. Listen, we can do this. Now, let me get back to this Aryan Nation. Do the time. Well, I'm going to make it fast. I got it. It's going down. Anyhow, the Aryan Nation brother told me, after we had been walking for over 2 hours, I'm tired. And he said, listen, I'm going to work with you. Because I explained the issue to him. The issue is the way you're treated inside the prison system. They do what they want to do because we allow them to do. The same thing out here. They do what they want to do out here because we allow them. It's more of us. It's more of us than them. Inside the prison system, we were 1,400 strong. Out here, we millions. Millions and millions strong. So anyhow, he decided that he was going to work with me, but he had to go back to his people. So he told me the next morning that he would give me an answer. Next morning he came back and said that he was going to work with me. He said, I know it's important, and what you said makes sense. And after watching me, I had to go talk to the skinheads now. The skinheads saw me walking with this Aryan Nation guy. And when they saw me walking with this Aryan Nation guy, they figured that I was somebody special because this Aryan Nation guy don't talk to black folks. Don't do nothing with black people, you know? So this Aryan Nation told me, he said, well, how come y'all was walking? I said, well, you know, that's between me and him. Me and him had a good conversation. When I told him we had a good conversation, he said, really? He don't even talk to black people. I said, yeah, but he was talking to me. So the skinheads came aboard. They was there. Then I went out to the Mexicans. I went to talk to them. They came aboard. Then we went and got the Puerto Ricans. The gangs wasn't big. It's not really big. It's usually the religious group, you know. But my hardest group was the Christians. I had to go there and tell this guy. I told him what we was going to do. I told him we're going to attack the buck-naked fish. The buck-naked fish got to go down. I said, we're going to make sure that we eliminate that. you'll never have to worry about eating if we work together. And sure enough, those Christians went back and told them, we got to pray about it. Now, I had just got there Tuesday. I had just got there on Tuesday. And we were gonna do the protest on Saturday. Now, in these 3 days, I have got almost 1,400 people ready to roll. We only 1,200 came aboard, but the other 200, it was like they was joining us also, because it looked like. So my plan was that everybody wear their full uniform, the full blues. That scares them, because nobody wears the full blues. And I'm going to say this. When you learn to work together, you can do things.
Yes. Yeah.
That's right.
When them guys saw that we was able to bring this many people together, the prison was scared. Everybody went in and asked for the buck naked fish. Give me the buck naked fish. I want the, and then remember, they only cooked 100 pieces of the buck naked fish. So you talking about 1,200 people asked for the buck naked fish? They mad. They called the warden. Warden comes out. It's a Saturday. He never worked on Saturday. And he comes in. He want to know what's going on. Who created this? You know, they want to figure out who did it. So it couldn't be me, because I only been there 3 days. So the guy said, somebody had to do this. So here was the signal. Once I got in there, I drink my water. Everybody gets up and dump their food out. Oh, it was chaos. See, it's what you can do when you show unity. When the Green Party starts showing unity, you'll be surprised what you can do. Unity is a weapon. It's like a secret weapon to the people here. Trump people is unified. We're the ones not unified.
All right.
We got to start unifying and standing together, fighting together, and keep this thing moving. And this is something we can do. We got to stop all this bull. So anyhow, that Monday, the warden called all the leaders in. The Muslim brothers, the skinheads, the Aryan Nation brothers, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the little few gangs, the Christian brothers even went. And he wanted to know what they wanted. They wanted nothing. And we told them, don't ask for nothing. I'm going to close in a second, because this is, I know I'm going over a little bit, but I'm excited. So, you know, y'all make me excited. It's your fault. It's your fault. You're the reason that this is happening. Blame him. It's your fault. You created this mess up here now. And now the time is going haywire. Anyhow, the warden was mad. He wanted to know who could be this smart to outsmart me. So he came up with an idea. He's going to cook 800 pieces of the buck naked fish for next Saturday. He said, whoever it is, I got it. The warden was smiling. He walked around the compound looking. And that was the only day we had our blues on. So he said, wow. He said, everything back to normal. That next week, that very next week, Saturday morning, everybody put on their blues again. We had over 1,200 people with their blues out of 1,400. And here's the thing. The rule was, nobody goes to chow. You cooked 800 pieces of the buck naked fish, and we didn't show up. They're really mad now. They're so mad that somebody in here is smarter than me. You're a prisoner. Your level of intelligence is not that high.
Come on.
That's how they think.
Yeah.
But we went in there because of unity. We went in there and fought. We went in there and showed them what you can do when you come together. Yeah. You don't have to like each other.
Come on.
We keep sitting around here talking about we're not going to work with this person because her purse is blue. We used to go around talking about she got on high heels. We always got reasons why we don't want to work with somebody. I can't work with you. It ain't right because Joanne don't like you. I can't work with you because Eric don't like you. I can't work with you. I can't work with you because Clara don't like you. We always find a reason not to work with somebody. That's why we're losing.
Yes, sir.
We're losing this battle.
Yes.
But here's the good news. We can win.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I gotta close, okay? Let me say this to you real fast. They no longer serve the buck naked fish. And one other thing, that Aryan Nation brother, now listen to this, that Aryan Nation brother is now my friend. That's it. Come on. Can we work together? Can we work together? Can we work together? Can we work together? Let's do this. We gotta say enough is enough. No more. All right. I'm 5 minutes over.
Only 5 minutes.